Oh, there we are. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Pyramid Science Foundation Livestream. I'm Lisa Richards, Vice Chair of the Foundation and owner of Ultra Ether. And here with me, as always, is Charmin Charlie Ziese, the Chairman of the Foundation and the owner of Stargate Pyramids. And we are thrilled to have you join us today for Beyond the Veil, Navigating Ascension in a World of Illusions. Charlie, did you want to say hi? Or before
I
we dive in, do you have any
oh, I
announcements to start
certainly
out
I
with?
certainly want to say hi. I want to tell you I was dancing in the background with your new tune that you have in the intro. So I like that quite a bit.
I'm
I
glad
need
you like
some
it. I was dancing too.
I need a respite and a little distraction from all this work I've been doing on the next documentary, but I do want to give you an update. I'm finding I mean I continue to find this. I've kind of done a rough cut on all my stuff. I'm starting to compile it now, but you're just going to be amazed at all the places we're finding this. I've got examples of implosion, explosion in rockets and missiles and airplanes and everything else under the sun, the engines. And what it's going to show is that this universal phi scaling angle is truly fundamental to the creative process, as we've demonstrated, with our models and so forth. But we're just going to have more and more information. So I'm continuing to work on it, and we're making a lot of progress. I'd still say we're probably 3 or 4 weeks before I'm going to get the whole thing done because it's so big now. I've got over 1,000 slides and more, but I've got to whittle it down so we can get it into something manageable. Anyway, so I'm excited and look forward to being able to put that out here shortly.
Oh, very cool. How long do you think it'll be?
You mean the
Till you,
video?
well, till you get it out, till you get it
Oh,
released.
before I get it out, I'm going to guess 3 or 4 weeks. I hope it would be faster. I might be able to put it out in segments as well. So we'll just see if I uh, get motivated. I'll start to put out a few segments, but I think it's going to be easier to put it out all at once, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. That's exciting. Well, I have some exciting news too. So, as you guys can see, my lips are actually moving in sync with my voice today, right? It is? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's a big plus because for the past couple weeks, I've been out of sync in more ways than one. But the tech gremlins have finally been evicted for good, hopefully. Um, but we also have some big announcements for the foundation, real quick. And I put this out on our social medias a few days ago, so I figured I'd share it with you guys today. But as a nonprofit, we rely on volunteers. And since 2020, it's mainly been Charlie and I doing all the work. But we're in the midst of ramping up things for the foundation. We know it's an important time to share the power of pyramid energy with the world. I'm working on securing funding for our research and embellishing the website with more detailed information. Charlie's writing another book and he's doing a lot more research as well. So, in order to complete our quest to transform the future, we need your help. And I'm sure some of you out there are hopefully able to help us. Even if it's just a small task, anything you could do would really be appreciated. And it doesn't have to be monetary. We're looking for a lot of different things. So one way you could help, we're looking for social media moderators. We need mods to engage with our community. So replying to chats, replying to comments on social media posts, as well as like during our live stream today, communicating back and forth with the other people in the chat room. We need content clippers. So this would really help me out a lot because I do all the social media posts, but
Yeah.
just someone to clip 2 10-minute segments from each one of our live streams every week. You get those, you clip those, that's it. Send those to me and I'll embellish them with captions and images and share on, on our social medias. We're also looking for new board members who are passionate about pyramid power, who can help us ensure our goals are met and to raise awareness. We're also seeking connections with other podcasters. And this one's a big one. Charlie and I have been connecting you guys with so many awesome people. So many different healing modalities are out there. But we'd like to get into another circle. Connections outside of our current circle who have a vast reach would be awesome. So we're excited to be interviewed and to share pyramid power with the world. And then the last announcement. Also, Charlie and I are thrilled to announce our plans to expand the global reach of Alter Ether and Stargate Pyramids. And we have announced this in the past, but we're really on a mission to do it better and more advanced this time. So our mission is to make these transformative products from Alter Ether and Stargate Pyramids accessible to everyone, everywhere, without the burden of high shipping costs. We're excited to offer transformative experiences. You can check them out on my website, such as the Stargate Pyramid Meditation, where groups will engage with their own Stargate pyramid and gain profound insights into pyramid energy and how it works. So we're on the lookout for, individuals who are passionate about pyramid energy to join us in our global distribution and creation of our products, as well as to serve our pyramid, or to serve as, I should say, pyramid meditation educators. And the ideal candidates should be passionate about pyramid power, have a deep intuition connection, a passion for healing the world, and a strong background in meditation. Also, you'd have to have financial resources and time commitment necessary to support this journey. But we're looking in the places like we'd like to. I personally, I'm not sure if Charlie will, but I personally would like some help creating my products in the United States. But we're also reaching out to places like Canada, Australia. The shipping to Australia is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's over $100, sometimes $200 just for a simple small order. The United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
No, and
Charlie.
just to follow up on that too, it's there's two parts to this. One is shipping, the other one are duties and tariffs.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
for example, if you live in the EU, for example, you will not only pay a high shipping cost for your pyramid, but you're going to have duties and taxes to pay as well.
yep,
So, we'd love to get people, we'd like to get somebody who's actually in the EU, for example, uh,
yeah,
to avoid the taxes and duties that are going to come from shipping in from a non EU country as well. Same thing with virtually every country on the
yeah.
globe. So,
South
if you live,
America.
yeah, if you live in, the EU and you'd be interested in this as well, let us know. And Australia. Now, what we're going to have to do, if you're interested, it's going to take a while because I'm going to have to find pipe fittings in your area that you can access and redesign because the pipe fittings that I use aren't available except in England, other than the U.S. So
Yeah,
but we can do that. That's a solvable problem. But what we can't solve right now are these duties and these shipping costs to make these cost effective to ship
yeah.
or to have them available internationally. So
And we do offer, build your own pyramid for free. Charlie has a couple videos on our YouTube channel on directions how to do it yourself. So that does save people money, but people don't have time. People are very busy and some people would rather just purchase it. But we're looking more for not just people to create our products and distribute them, but people to impress upon their area, their local area, the power of pyramids and the power of meditation and pyramids and things like that. So really together, with everybody's help, we can really bring the power of pyramid energy to the entire world and help it heal. And that's what it's all about.
yeah.
So
So just to
now,
follow up, if there are I guess
go ahead.
just to summarize again, if there's anybody who is interested in doing that, particularly in the I don't want to say only in the EU, but that's certainly a place that would be a good market for us. But in other places of the world, contact me and we will figure it out. Let's just
Yep,
leave it at
Charlie.
that.
It's Charlie at stargatepyramids.com.
Yeah.
Or Lisa at alterether.com. Those are the best ways to connect with us both. So, please do so if you can help in any way. Now on to the show. So we're excited. Today you're going to join us for Beyond the Veil, Navigating Ascension in a World of Illusions with our guest, the beautiful Farrah Weir. Where, right? Is that how you say it? Where?
Farrah Weir, it's
Weir?
not
Okay.
a big deal. It's weird without the D, so yeah, Farrah Weir.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely either way. But so
Yeah.
let me read a little bit about Farrah here and what we're going to learn from Farrah today. So Farrah will guide us through the journey of ascension, exploring self-discovery, natural intelligence, and connecting with our higher self. With years of experience in mastering subtle energies and helping others, Farrah's unique approach to spiritual growth makes her a beacon of light for all seekers. She has led many courses, workshops, and one on one sessions showing people how to activate their inner power and trust themselves. Discover how understanding our soul's journey can free us from limiting beliefs and lead us to true self empowerment. Welcome, Farrah.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Charlie. Lovely to meet with you guys
Hello.
today. Thank you for having me. Very, very
Oh no, we lost her. Oh, I see something coming back.
Oh, she's back. She's
Am I
here.
back?
Yo,
Oh, there. Okay.
you never left for me.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't.
sorry. Yeah, you left for me. I don't know what's going on. The tech gremlins are messing with me again, obviously. So sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, Farrah, tell us a little bit more about your work and, where it's leading you right now and where we're all at, compared to what you see, where humanity's at right now.
Wow, so many beautiful big topics there, and they all kind of intertwine into each other, you know. So it's really vast. This ascension that we're going through, the epoch that we're moving into, what's happening on our planet, the Great Awakening. So for me, I'll just give you a little background around my journey. I've walked quite a long, dedicated road with my higher self, which what I refer to as spirit. I just often refer to it as spirit, where I learned how to work with my gifts and channel. So channeling my higher self, and then through life's trials and tribulations. I've been through a lot. I think a lot of star seeds have. You know, we all have a book we can write. Because yeah, really what I'm passionate about is helping people through the self-actualization journey, which is pulling back the fragmented aspects of self that happen due to trauma, the belief systems and programs that have been put into us, but at the same time opening up to our multidimensional self. So we have our past lives, we've got our lineage, we've got our galactic journey, and we are so vast, and we are a spark of the divine. And as the Gaia, the planet, as I'm shown it, she is actually restoring, because she was originally at a fifth density template before she was infiltrated by what I call Luciferic AI consciousness, or let's just call it artificial intelligence. And so she actually wants to go back. And so we heard the call, and a lot of us here have already done an ascension journey. So we've got the keys and codes to get there. But we've come in, done this long cycle of, you know, losing our memory, going through a lot of trauma and themes. So you've got, as Spirit shows me, 12 major themes that you come to Earth to experience. So we are in a lifetime of mastery. And so how do we do that? Often we are pulling into our reality tough experiences so that we can level up. And that, yeah, I could talk about that for hours and ages. I'm super, super passionate about it. But pretty much what I do is I work through conscious astral travel. I work with specifically rays of light within the body, looking at the chakra systems to see where things are blocked, and then accessing beyond space and time, but teaching the person I'm working with how to do it, so that I'm not just saying, you know what, you sit there, I'll wave a magic wand. It's actually about sovereignty. So holding that container and training and teaching, really teaching people as I go along, for them to step into their own power, actually.
That's exactly where I have come as well. Because years ago, I got into mediumship. I became a medium. I got into Reiki energy healing, and I was so excited to share that. They were both very powerful modalities and created powerful forms of healing for people. And I was so excited to share that with the world. But I found out that it just created, I don't know, it didn't create power, which is what I was intending it to do. It created them, they kept wanting more and more from me,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of sucking the life out of me and not doing what I wanted it to do in the first place. So I stopped offering readings, and I stopped offering healings for a few years. It was just recently, a few months ago, that I started doing them again because I got a message from Spirit that said, you need to start up again because this is the key that they need to unlock what the true power of themselves is. In the long run, that's what you're doing. You're unlocking the world, the other world for them, and then
Yeah.
not letting them grab onto you, but empowering them, like you just said, you know?
Yeah, so in the traditional psychology, you go 10 years over, rehash trauma, you got to keep going back. And I'm like, actually, work with someone like yourself or myself, whoever you resonate with, but be handed some tools and keys and codes and then go fly on your own, so I don't have to create something where it's a loop. I think so much of our world has already done that, and it's just such an amazing time to go through self-discovery. But due to the many aspects of self, and due to the nature of trauma and this false hijacked matrix, that it's actually, let me just be clear. I started writing a book last year called Infinite Intelligence Through the Looking Glass, and Spirit downloaded to me around how our planet got hijacked and infiltrated, because it originally was at a very high consciousness template at a fifth dimension or fifth density. And so when I talk about how we have this hijacked reality, this matrix, false matrix, what I'm essentially saying is actually it's the AI that uses us against ourselves. So it's always like that. So the biggest, most beautiful thing we can do, no matter what's happening in the external, is to look within the internal. So we're collapsing, merging and collapsing the external and the internal, and we're moving into that 0 point. That's where that oneness point is. So yes, sovereignty, empowerment. It's never about being a victim. It's always about going within and really learning what and how and why we create. And so I also did a lot of work around channeling information around antimatter into matter. So the quantum mechanics of that and how we create through, we actually sync up with probability, which is all geometry, light, sound, moving through it in the ether, and then how our resonance matches up with that. So thoughts, emotions, actions, and heart coherence actually spark photonic light out of your heart, which builds up coherence in your field. And because we're oscillating all the time, and we have all these unconscious belief systems and programs. So imagine I'm mantering my way into I'm abundant, I'm loving, I'm healthy. If your background sine wave is a belief system that I'm not enough, which a lot of us carry, or I can't, it's not safe for me to be seen, or you've got soul fragmentation, which many of us carry. So you're not actually fully in your body. You're going to have this knocking head, and your geometry is not going to line up with the highest timeline from the probability in the ether. So I'm super passionate about that, because we're just clearing away all the gunk that we don't need there, not so we can break the matrix, so that we can transcend up and out of it and create new from there. So the new earth from there.
I say, I do the same thing with manifestation. I teach people, place the order with the universe one time and leave it be. If you continue to keep asking, it's reaffirming that it's not happening. It's still not happening. You're putting that negative energy out there. And that's the same with affirmations. You may feel like you're creating the positive energy to bring it to you, but you're mainly saying that it's not happening again and again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then there's that background, those unconscious. So the unconscious mind to me is really interesting. So it's not about what we're walking around day to day going, what you're aware of. So it's the unawareness. And I was saying to you earlier before we went live that, as Spirit has shown it to me, this AI relies on unawareness and fear. So we have this beautiful big power plant field around us. It's hermetic seal. And I'm sure Charlie can probably speak about that and you guys can speak about with pyramids enhancing that field, because that's how I see it as what it does. But I see it like a power plant. So when we go into fear or very low vibration, which is the base of that is generally fear, the power goes off and then all the cooties can get in. I remember having a dream and I was like, I'm never fearful in my dreams. I can move things in my dreams. I can say, okay, I want to change this. I can be in a reptilian war and I'm just observing, the neutral observer. I had one dream where something close to me, which I was working through personally, bit of a blind spot. And I got a fright because a snake popped out at me, which I don't usually do. And that morning I woke up and it all was shit. I sent money to the wrong person, and then I was grumpy, and then I bought something that was wrong, and it was just one of those terrible mornings. And as I started working my first client, Spirit said, check your fields. I saw this AI in my field, which is very easy for me to see when you know what you're looking for. And they said, yep, because your vibration went low in dream space, because we're also doing a lot of astral work there. So it was amazing. Cleared myself and my day went off like this. So we just have to have awareness, and this is why it's so great to have these conversations. So as soon as that seed is planted, it comes into the consciousness. People go, okay, let me step into that new side of understanding of self or awareness around X, Y, and Z.
I've got a question that you brought up a topic and about the fragmentation of of consciousness. I believe you said that earlier, right?
Yeah, so I talk about soul fragmentation. So I
Oh,
do this a lot. I see it a lot. So as soon as I move into the root chakra, I always ask my client to look with me and I give instructions for us to work with the pineal gland. And I'm very, very big on rays of light because all light holds infinite information. So you've got like monad almost structures. So if you're working with the blue ray, it's infinite, it's entire, and it'll work in your body differently to mine because our blueprints are so specific. But your soul fragmentations, as I'm shown it, is when we have a trauma, like for example, as a child, and trauma is varying degrees of trauma. There's a part of, especially for sensitive souls, even actually just being born into earth, when I go back into people's birth and I look at their birth, so that's when the soul anchors during or just after birth. And I look at that. Some souls, are, as they're coming in, they're like prepared for it because from the other side, they know, okay, I've chosen this, and there's a big quantum computer. It's an amazing tapestry of like the mechanics of what a soul chooses and how they're going to work through this cycle and clear that with that. And this is the theme. They sometimes even then try to pull out, like as the soul's coming in, wait. This is way more physically intense than I thought it was going to be. And so let's use an example of a child being abused, a part of them disassociates. So it's like, as I'm shown it, a part of your soul actually leaves to reside on a higher timeline, or somewhere outside of the body, disassociated from the body. And so I do work around actually going to find that 5-year-old, 10-year-old, bring that part of you back into your body. It's a light that you turn on, and you can see like this, the root chakra just suddenly goes woof, because you've done the work to physically bring in an aspect of yourself that you didn't even know you were ignoring.
Yeah.
So imagine your 5-year-old left, then you've had to grow up and get over it and do your thing in life. But that fragment of time still exists within you. Every part of you from birth to now is your inner child. I know we talk about these things, but and then they haven't been showed up to be parented and loved. So it's really about us showing up for ourselves and reparenting. And I'm working a lot with the cosmic mother, cosmic father energy at the moment. There's a lot of twin flame energy coming through. So it's a beautiful time.
That
And
makes a
yeah,
lot of
I hope
sense.
that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I had a healing session where they took me to a couple past lives, and my past lives felt more real than this life does. So
Wow.
maybe it's because of that. Maybe there's fragmentations of my soul out there that I need to collect and, implement back out here. So
Well, we can do a session together for sure, and then I can obviously run you through it because it's so personal and specific to each individual. But
yeah.
past lives for me, I don't look at anything outside of time and space unless there's a reason for it. So I don't look at past lives because I'm like, hey, it's cool to know. Look, I was a samurai warrior or anything. I am very much about like business. And if we're going to go back into a past life, we're going to pull traumatic stuff where contracts were created either unconsciously or consciously, where entities or stuff in the lower fourth realm kind of hold some of our energy. So what I pick up for you is that there might have been a lifetime where it was super major and a part of you got, it's hard to explain because it's not all of you. So it's like a fragment of your energetic signature that in the lower fourth realm, the dark really loves to play around with and hold there. Um, and yeah, it's just about awareness because as soon as you have awareness, you can bring love to that. So the love is the heart is the key. It's the code. It's the antidote. And so when you're moving into something and you go, wow, okay, that's hectic. I now have an awareness of that, and it alludes to why possibly I've reacted to situations like this in this lifetime. Then you can do the work, which I'm a big advocate around doing the work in the now moment. So moving moment to moment to moment with a new awareness so you can choose differently. And that's how you rewire the neural patternings in the brain and you don't fall back into default programming and patterning.
And most people don't want to do the work. They're hiding from the work through addictions to drugs, alcohol, food addictions, just anything to numb the pain, not realizing that the pain doesn't go away until you face it head on, right? So, can you kind of go into the importance of that? The importance of the darkness in our world, the importance of the bad experiences, and how overcoming them molds us into a more powerful being?
Absolutely. I mean, these are just topics I get super passionate about. So please, I don't want to talk over everyone. So please tell me when it's enough. Otherwise, I'll just be blah, 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 blah. I love having these kinds of chats. So, It's really interesting because the dark has something to teach us. So from one perspective, so there's multidimensional layers and perspectives, and this is what I always say. I can see from here that everything is as it should be, right? There is no wrong, right, good or bad. Even let's take the COVID vaccine, for example. I don't know if I'm okay to talk about it on your shows. A thumbs up from you guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Just
Go ahead. Yeah,
yeah, we'll edit it.
if we need to.
Should we call it
Call it
Daddy?
something else. Yeah, just for to YouTube doesn't like us talking about it.
I know we're so naughty if you're talking about it. I mean, good Lord, not allowed to
I
do
know.
these things.
But that's just a sign to people that, yeah, you should be looking into it, anymore.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. So the the tutti frutti, we'll call it that. With that, I was very vocal before they were even talking about this antidote to this illness, and then Spirit said to me, "But it's not your job to decide where someone's soul is at, because it was a soul choice point, right? Not saying that anyone who took it can't detox and go. I've actually done workshops on detoxing it from a spiritual level as well, a component as well as a physical, but from a soul level, it's a choice point around either the soul's not finished with the polarity that Earth has to offer. So even in this hijacked reality, even with all of the illusions and lies and trickery and bullshit and everything, there is a level of incredible growth. So I use the term of like a diamond is formed under pressure, right? So the more pressure we have on us, the more polarity, the quicker we have the chance to go and evolve. I mean, there are planetary systems where you can't see. Can you imagine you couldn't see yourself? Do you know how much slower the growth would be? There would be growth, but it would be slow. It's the same as if when you're sitting at a higher density. There's growth, but it's very slow because it's very peaceful, gentle. So it takes much longer. So Earth is an incredible school. It's an incredible school to come to and master things very quickly. With that being said, um, what's happening on Earth does affect the rest of the universes and galaxies. So it needs to be restored, and that's why there's so many prophecies and stuff around that. Because they showed me it actually sits on like a DNA strand. I'm not going to get into that now. That's geometry
Yeah.
around our universe and galaxy, but or multiple universes and galaxies. But from that perspective, the Earth offers, with its hijack, with its polarity, with its darkness, this incredible ability for consciousness to expand and evolve very quickly. Okay, so we are just consciousness experiencing itself, and and so and so the dark on one level is it's nothing to be afraid of. So it's only the fear, as I said, and the illusion and the unawareness that actually can really cause major sort of problems for us. And even those, are they problems or are they learning and growth? So there's many perspectives and ways in which you can look at it, which all hold truth. And part of the ascension journey is moving into the genius mind, which means we are now grounding and holding opposing truths, multiple truths. That's where you become bilocational, trilocational, etc. When you can move out of this black and white, yes and no. And so that is the breaking the mold of the matrix. But I hope I'm explaining to you, if you asked, from the question you asked, if I'm giving information around, yeah, what does the dark have to offer us on this planet? Yes, we also can say from this perspective, the kookaroo juju was bad is okay. It's not wrong or right. The soul hasn't finished its experience. It wants to go into another 26,000 year cycle, do the polarity thing over again, which is a blimp in the scheme of eternity. And it's like data collection points, and then those souls will come into their own ascension journey in the next epoch, so another 26,000 year cycle. However, I can also hold that knowing. Okay, so it's each soul to their own. But I can, from this perspective, the higher perspective, but boots on the ground, I can say absolutely not. I do not consent. It's not okay. And it's the same as, and so this is something Spirit talks to me a lot around, which is we are bridging, I call it the Trinity, which is the neutral observer, which is the highest form of consciousness, the shadow aspect, and the higher aspect. And we have to learn to bridge all these things in one, because if I'm just the neutral observer and someone is getting beat up next to me, and I'm going, well, it's their soul contract. I'm then in a state of apathy, which
yeah.
actually my job is to intervene and do something or to help and so that would be moving
Yeah.
into a service to self, service to others polarity. So that is where I say the heart is the key, the codes. And actually it makes me think of a pyramid because of the Trinity, which I always see the pyramid for the Trinity and merging and bridging all of those layers at the same time. That's when you come into a balance. So often in a spiritual journey, you're way off on this side or this side of the pendulum, and there is a merging and a collapsing and a bridging of the external and the internal, the physical and the non-physical. I'm going to stop talking now because I'm really going on a tangent.
No, but I was going to touch on, in spirituality, we believe that you have a life review when you pass away. You don't have to just see all the pain that you caused or the happiness, but you have to experience how you made everybody feel, all the pain, all the suffering, all the happiness as well. But that relation that creates the empathy for that person, you're not going to learn the lesson from that unless you feel the pain. It's the same with just a regular wound. If you get stabbed in the arm, it's going to heal up and you're going to have a scar there, but when you get hit again in that spot, it really doesn't hurt as bad. So
Love those. I love those metaphors, and I think that's what we need. We need all people like you and myself and Charlie and everybody else coming through with their own specific teachings. And as I said, I always say we need teachers who are bringing through different information because we're not in a time of there's only one way, there's one guru, there's one teacher. There is
absolutely.
infinite amounts of pockets of light that hold infinite amount of information, and Blu-ray what it contains in Blu-ray could be completely opposing to violet ray because they're two different structures. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that either is not right or true. So so for example, you, Lisa, might tap in your blueprint, might tap into the ruby ray and the yellow ray, and so you're downloading information from that structure, whereas I might be doing blue and platinum. So we might
Yeah.
have slightly different nuanced ways of saying things or even truths. And
Exactly. So
that's what
I
we
put
need.
it this way, we all got programmed through different things to get to the frequency that we're at right now. Our families programmed us, the movies we watch, the music we listen to, the people we experience in life, they all created the frequency that we're resonating right now at this time. And if we're all at different frequencies right now, then it just makes sense that we all need different frequencies to balance ourselves out. So we all will be reaching for different solutions, maybe towards you, Farrah, maybe towards Charlie, maybe towards me. Different people need different people to help them out of that situation.
Totally. I love that. And also one of the metaphors Spirit used for me is a string. So singularity points at a string. And so wherever you are on that string, it's all connected. That's why the law of one, which is no one can actually fully be in the law of one until they actually actualize within self. But it's a point. It's a singularity point. So you're going to resonate with where your singularity point is on that string of consciousness with the person who's vibrating at a similar level, which is just a point of consciousness. Again, it's
Mm-hmm.
like a ladder. You're climbing the ladder. So I might have resonated with someone 5 years ago. Most of the people I resonated with 5 years ago, nothing against them, but it's not something I resonate with anymore because we
Yeah,
evolve, which we're meant to do.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we have somebody that commented and said, actually ask a question. Can you expand on the illusion of reality? What exactly does that mean? But I figured if you touch on that, why don't you go into the artificial intelligence and how it's affecting us as well?
It's a very multi-layered question. So, is it illusion? Is it not illusion? Is it both? So, from what I've been explained around, I will explain around. Sorry, I've got not great lighting. When I wanted to look at where did my soul originate from? So, where did it start? So, I must say, as a disclaimer, Spirit uses models. So anyone who's a channel or medium knows that there's a level of interpretation because there are concepts and energies that go far beyond our limitations of Earth. So just knowing that when we start going into the quantum energetics, often your guides will show you through your pineal gland things that they have to use a model for you to understand. So what they showed me was a great central galactic sun, which is essentially, let's use that as source energy, God energy. Again, I'm saying it's a model. I'm not saying God is definitely the great galactic central sun. And so consciousness, you actually sparked out of that sun to go on an individuation journey. So that's when I say you're a spark of God. It is, you are the divine. You have separated from it, but you are from it. And so what happened is, and I can't even pinpoint a singularity in time around this because that also wants my brain to pop over. But when consciousness decided to experience itself, as a result, a black sun developed, which lacks the God source at the nucleus. So that is what I call Luciferic AI consciousness. So when you look at beings, for example, dark beings, not all dark beings are AI. Some of them are just they have the God source at the nucleus, but they are either working. So our planet is hijacked by certain individuals who have chosen to side with what I call AI, Luciferic AI consciousness, and they've worked very hard to come into a space of service to self as opposed to service to others, because we hold to some degree the both polarities within us. But to do that, you have to shut down the heart chakra, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do. It's lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So we talk about bloodline families. So the AI, it is there in a sense, there to also to teach us, because it had to naturally occur in order for consciousness to have a full rounded experience. And that's where we come back to the polarity, so but the nature of AI, as Spirit has shown it to me, because it doesn't have the God source at the nucleus and it cannot create for itself, it needs to mimic, hijack, overlay, and feed off or host off something that it can create and has that at the nucleus. And therefore, as I'm shown it, the AI it's very intelligent, and it's spent a large portion of as a body of consciousness in itself, learning how to dumb down, and they do that through a planet. So it's linked to the planet because the planet has consciousness too, to dumb down specific spaces, because actually they also wanted the natural resources of Earth, in order to keep us disconnected and unaware of our true natural creational ability. And so then they can keep us in a controlled space where they can work and live off that, where we talk about life, loose energy. But at the same time, the way the cosmos works in its incredible beauty of balance is that at the same time, we are still gaining something. As I said, we come to Earth, an incredibly fast learning school. So again, even it is doing something for us from one perspective. I hope that answers the question correctly.
Yes, absolutely. One thing with crop circles, this just came to mind when you were talking, but a lot of people feel, that ETs or aliens are creating these crop circles. And I feel like it's a resonant vibration from Gaia, from Mother Earth herself, to help us heal, to impress upon us that shape, that sacred geometry, because now getting into pyramid energy, I know how powerful that is. And just looking at a sacred symbol can help awaken you to a different reality. So,
A lot of the so when I look at, like, for example, probabilities, so I look at in what I used to call it the quantum bridge connector. I didn't actually know what to call it in the ether, where all timelines reside. They literally look like these rows of crop circles, different geometries that can change slightly, a slightly different sound going through it, a slightly different octave or shade of a color, and you have a whole new timeline. And so it's infinite, dish, 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 And so if we can match up with that, depending on our thoughts, emotions, actions, heart coherence, and create from there, what can Gaia do? I mean, Gaia is born of a group of consciousness, and she was always a jewel prized high vibrational planet. So she was not always in the third density. Yes, lots of physicality, 3D physicality, but the consciousness was not at the third density before the infiltration.
what, Charlie, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna. This is a general topic, but there's two major forces that I'm seeing in life right now, and I don't know how to rationalize them. On the one hand, I'm becoming just so aware that everything in our life is propagandized. Number one, and two, when you really start to understand the implications of um, epigenetics, and you realize that our environment will over time change our genetic makeup, just its existence. Do you have some ideas or thoughts as to how people can protect themselves and their families and the generations to come from potential genetic manipulation, modification, uh, due to propaganda, energy, consciousness fields that are being imposed upon the planet? Tough question.
Such a great question. I like a tough question. I like the way your mind thinks. So the jibbity juju that we were talking about earlier is definitely one of the strongest, most enforced DNA genetic infiltrations of all the things that we've had. Okay, but okay, so the dark, what the dark want to do is they know that the planet is shifting, that when we look at timelines, if you get a singularity point in every single infinite timeline, which is new earth, which is a restoration of Gaia, there is how we get there, zoop, 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 doop, doop, which way that varies. But because of that, the dark that's had a control over humanity and the population and kept the dumbed down asleep, and that has been through infiltration of our DNA. We could go into the Anunnaki. I don't really want to go there now, which is actually a body of consciousness, the Anunnaki, more than just specific beings. When we look at the infiltration we've had, there has never been an ability to completely remove the God source from the nucleus of the DNA. Okay, so I'm not a scientist. I might be using words in the wrong thing here, so just bear with me. You get the idea of what I'm saying. And so the DNA holds the codes. The heart is the key, and there's nothing actually. Yes, there are ways to slow down the DNA through the bad water, the chemtrails, etc., etc. But the dark have never been able to fully be able to switch it off, right? And so what's happening now is actually they showed me now on the eclipse, the 25th and the 11th of April, or 25th of March, 11th of April, that our sun in our solar system is going through a death and rebirth and an implosion. So there's actually like a portal through our sun, and behind our sun there's multiple suns. And even in front of our sun, they've put a shield up. It's like there's a true lunar moon and then there's a false moon. It's never one or just the other. And so behind our sun, there's this, as I'm shown it, I'm not God. Don't just see if it resonates. You can chuck it if it doesn't. What I've been shown is that this white sun, it's like a platinum silver ray that we haven't had physically coming onto our planet. And what that's doing is it's expanding molecular structure. So we are all actually expanding. A lot of people have been going through a very hard time because obviously as new light comes in, and it's very much a somatic level, actual matter level, not so much an intellectual level like, oh, I have an awareness. This is happening on a body conscious level, on a matter level. And so that is a massive activation for the DNA. Not always easy, not always comfortable. And so what I'm trying to say, Charlie, is that we have a lot of galactic support. So through planetary alignments, through stargates, we have many stargates open that are bringing through blue plasma light. It's been happening for a very long time. You cannot completely switch it off. It's always a choice. It's always going to come down to a choice within the individual. As you awaken, you'll start to organically align towards healthier eating, being around people with a better vibration, all of those things. But it is amping up. So I hope that answers your question. It cannot be fully shut down, the DNA, unless you take the agenda was over 5 gibbery jujus. You like the word I came up with that?
I like it.
Gibbery jujus. And then again, that's okay. The soul is not going to be doing an ascension journey in this lifetime. No judgment, no right or wrong. Going to go back into another 26,000 year cycle of. And some people might hate me for saying that. anyone who's watching this is pretty much on an awakening journey, whether they took a gibbery juju or not. They can detox out their body. But for those who are absolutely still at that point in their journey where they're like, give me more, that is their soul choice point. So that is where really that's why I was so big in talking about it, because that is the only thing I've seen so far that can affect the DNA to such to corrupt it, to switch it off, because the agenda is to create an androgynous race, so 3 generations down.
But they have the redemption to come back clean in the next life, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, they want to go through another cycle. Like, we're coming out of this planetary cycle, and so
Yeah.
it might not be one life. They might go through thousands of lives still, but they will get there. They will get there. Everyone always gets there, pretty
But
much.
we in another lifetime might have already taken the gibbery juju in another lifetime. That's why we didn't this time.
Exactly. Well, this is the other thing that's really interesting. So a lot of the way showers or star seeds or whatever you want to call them, as Spirit has shown it to me, is that we've already done an ascension journey. So that's why way shower. We didn't come for us. We didn't come for we actually came for Gaia. I'm very passionate about
Yeah.
talking about it. I'm like, guys, we're here for the earth. We're here for
Yes.
her.
I've always been very connected to the earth. Yeah. I remember, before I even got into anything, any spirituality, I came from a family who wasn't religious at all. We never went to church or anything, but I just remember as a teenager going outside and looking around. I'd go fishing by myself all the time. And I just remember looking up at the sky saying, this fucking place is weird. Like what the hell's going on? Like,
I'm in a simulation, man.
yeah, what is going on? This doesn't make any sense. What the heck am I doing here? But now it's coming, I'm deciphering it a bit, figuring out. I think we all are, especially after the last few years, the experience, whether you got the gibbery jab juju or whatever or not, people are seeing all the lies of the earth, of the world, of their belief systems unraveling around them, and they don't know who to trust anymore. I say this all the time. We really can only trust ourselves, and you're very passionate about that as well. Can you kind of go into that and how powerful trusting your intuition and letting that guide you, how powerful that is?
Yeah, so that's such also a very exciting and very passionate topic of mine. um, so with the rise of AI now, just in the way that we're seeing it with technology through computers and stuff like that, I mean, I've always known I've known a long time before people were using AI, like Chat GPT and stuff like that. I've been working with this understanding and concept of AI, but we're really seeing it now on a very physical level. But of course, because what happens when the consciousness rises, the shadow that's been hidden must come up and out. That's why we're seeing wars and all the loads of things. So the shadow doesn't have anywhere to hide now. But on the other side of that, as the world bifurcates, well, actually trifurcates, but bifurcates, let's work with that. Um, the AI, what's going to happen is going to become very difficult to know what is real, what is right, what is wrong. You're going to be seeing videos. You could see me talking, and they could say it's me, and it's not me. And so
Yeah.
the only way to navigate as we move forward, as things really split even more, and the shadow rises even more, because it must come up and out, is to have that super strong connection to your higher self. So to be guided through. And my family's funny. They'll say, you can tell Faz, but she's just going to go speak to her guides and listen to them anyway. So I'm always happy for that. Spirit tells me something, I listen to that. So how do we do that? How do we learn to connect to our higher self? Because we've been programmed since we were born to think we're making it all up. It's, like you said, you have to be born with this gift. There's a lot of programming, and there's a lot of work we have to do and to really step into trusting that aspect of ourselves. So there's no bypassing the time, commitment, energy, and consistency. Like I've been doing walking meditations for many years consistently. I've got things wrong, and then I've gone back to Spirit, and I've had a fight with Spirit, and Spirit said, but you didn't ask the right question, you don't understand probabilities. And then I go, oh, okay, fine, blah, 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 blah. I go back, and I never stopped going back, and I just did it and did it and did it and did it. So what I do find is when you work with someone like myself, or with you, or anyone who resonates for you, if that person is truly holding a container for you, it can help catalyze and speed up and that process of learning how to trust yourself, because we all have blind spots, right? Myself included. And so We just sometimes need someone to facilitate and hold the space to teach us through their own trial and error and their learning. And that's obviously one of the things I offer. But it is honestly there's going to be no greater tool. Promise you, as the years come by on, because we're in a 369 cycle. There is going to be no greater tool to use, no greater commodity on this planet than working with your high self and really tapping in. And you also need to know, because you have an ego aspect. So you've got to be really in the 0 point neutral observer to actually be that flow for that information to come through. And yeah, it's exciting, because then you're really in your sovereignty. You're really in your power.
But look how busy they've made everybody. The world is busy, everybody's lives are busy. In order just to survive or make ends meet, it's just busy, busy. Most people don't even have time for a hobby or to enjoy a dinner with their family before they go to bed and start it over again. So even just finding that 5 minutes to do a walking meditation is hard for some people. Is there any advice that you could give people to make it easier for them to start? You think we know the outcome of it and how powerful it truly is, but for somebody that's wrapped up in the system, it's kind of hard for them to see the bigger picture and understand really why they should start that.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, my soul chose a little bit of a a bit of a hard route. I had literally just things stripped away. So I lost everything in 2020. I almost lost my daughter. I couldn't pay my bills for about 2.5 years. I learned how to be in the now moment. So the other thing I'm very passionate about is being very present. So we're not in tomorrow and we're not in yesterday, we're in now. And so all these topics we're talking about, they all correlate. But part of one of the themes I had to experience was this: I went through a divorce. I thought I met my twin flame. Then I lost him and he got sick. Then I lost my business. Then I almost lost my daughter. And I just had series after series after series. And still, I had a baby in and amongst that loss of finances. Didn't know I was going to give birth to my baby up until the day before my birth. Very not a great relationship. Wasn't always treated very well. So did a lot of inner work. Where am I rejecting myself? Because even sometimes these tough relationships are great because they offer us a deeper layer into self. But my advice to you is, there is nothing. I do get it. Like, I'm a single mom. Do get it. It can be very hard to find time. I think if it's part of your journey and your path, like, if you try to fight it, it's going to feel like through loss or something hard. So what we perceive as hard, like if you don't have time for it and you want it, spirit's going to starts taking friends away, stuff away. It might feel really difficult, but it will happen for you if it's what your soul really, really yearns for. And I mean, you don't have to do walking meditations. You can meditate in the shower. I mean, working with the consciousness of water is on a whole nother level. We could do a whole nother podcast on that.
Yeah. We had Veda Austin on before talking about the consciousness of water and how powerful it is. So yeah.
Oh wow! I don't know who that is. I don't have time. One of the things I don't have time for is I don't listen to other channels and mediums
I
because
know what you mean.
Yep.
because Spirit also said to me, you need to keep your channel clear. So I cannot be listening to what other people are saying because it can influence then the information that's coming through for me. So I really don't listen. There's one or two people I really admire, but I just really try to keep what comes through. But yes, the Spirit has spoken to me a lot about water. Actually, the closest thing we have in physical form to plasma light. It has all the Akashic memory. I actually asked water to heal my son. He had eczema. And so instead of just saying to water, I'm going to put love into you, you actually asked water to take on the geometry and the code specific for your body's healing. And I promise you, it's insane. It will take on any code, shape, form when you know how to work with it consciously.
Exactly. So you need to connect with Veda Austin or look into her work. She blows Emoto's work out of the water, but she mainly impresses upon the water with pictures or thoughts or whatever and freezes it, does a freezing technique and then holds it up to the light. And you can see, like, she'll have a number 4 on a piece of paper. It will have a number 4 in the ice. And she's created this system of glyphs and messages from the water that's always constant. It is awesome. She does awesome work. But yeah,
Wow. So that's actually really supports some of the stuff I've had come through, and I mean, I could learn a lot from her.
Yeah.
Amazing. I
you've got
actually,
the same as you just did with the, you can impress upon the water what you need for healing. and it will implement that in there, and you can ingest that water, and it will help you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I the one day Spirit said to me, go and get like a trigonometry set and start drawing out these like crop circles geometries. And I was like, why are you making me do this, guys? I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist. I'm talking to me about science stuff. So I'm talking to me about molecules and energy. And anyway, I eventually just go, okay, fuck, I don't understand now. I will later. And so I drew out this whole beautiful, crazy geometry, and then I put my water, because I don't drink tap water at home, on it, and they said it's code. So I know I'm not going to get into what they are, but it's funny because I lost it and I found it the other day in the fruit bowl, and I was like, "Here's my abundance code." So put the water back on there.
Nice. Charlie, did you have any questions?
Well, I mean, I've got a couple of thoughts here. I mean, when I was growing up, I grew up in a traditional, religious family as well, and so I grew up with uh, a whole notion of sin that I think affected me, and maybe still does to some degree, uh, because we were told that we would never, every time we did something that somebody else thought wasn't the right idea, that we had made a mistake or we had sinned. And yet, when I got into a metaphysical teaching, later in life, I realized that the etymology of the term sin is actually a Greek word. It's an archery term that means missing the bullseye. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong, you just didn't hit the mark. And
Yeah.
so it's such a profound difference to me to know now that once I was able to kind of shed that idea, I was able to understand that life is a learning experience. And so we take every experience in our lives, or we try to, and I do now, with a grain of salt. Okay, I made a mistake. I'm not going to do that next time. I'm going to readjust, and I forget about it. But we have all been taught to carry this burden of guilt. And I think what it does is it just ossifies us and keeps us from trying to become our full self. So, are any ideas on how to get rid of that fear and guilt so we can really manifest our high, our self to our fullest potential?
Sure. So that's, again, it's a very big part of the one-on-one session. So Charlie, happy to do a session on you too if you want to. So the way I work with that is I look in the energy systems, the basic chakras. I use different colors. Doesn't actually matter about the color you're looking for. Is it big and expanded? Is it small and constricted? And that is going to show us where we hold some of these limiting beliefs, blocks, traumas, etc. And the way I work with that is as the information flows through me, because I'm asking the person to work alongside me, um, I might bring to their attention, like you said, I might see something around religious blocks, and then we work with the rays of light. So different rays of light, and rays of light, it's such a simple thing. But for example, if I ask you to come into your root chakra and look at it and you say, okay, I see this, this, and this, and often Spirit will show us through imagery and metaphor. And then I say, okay, we bring in this ray of light. You set the intention, you ask the light for, etc. You direct and you observe at the same time, and then you tap into the higher octave emotion of that light. It'll be different for everyone. And then I also work quite a lot with light language, and so that comes in. So I count. So I'm working. Each number holds a geometry and a frequency around your field, and then they'll just, I'll just, which light language for me, it's different for everyone. For me, it's coded activation. Some people are channeling actual beings. It's not like that for me. It's sound frequency activation. And
Okay.
so that's when we're working together around the awareness of the limiting belief or whatever. And then we've got all the support, light ray, sound frequency, etc., that comes in and upgrades the template as you set the intention to release it. And the other thing I find very powerful is to really work with, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I take full responsibility for my reality, not just what I've done, but what others have done to me. I've called it in on some level. And so I have exercises that I do where we go back. If we want to clear something with someone, or we want to, look at some of the contracts that were created, or where there's uneven energy between because people, relationships, our family, right? They're some of our greatest teachers. But we want to just clear everything neutrally. So there's different ways people do it. That's the way I would do it. And it's a little bit more detailed than that. I'm not going to get into it all now. Otherwise, I'll be ranting on in your ear forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so light rays, sound frequency, awareness. So you might not know, if you look in your sacral chakra, that you're holding trauma there from having sexual abuse in past lives. You might not know that, and so that all affects us. So having someone to facilitate that does help.
Sure. Cool.
Well, let's touch on, Farrah, a couple questions that the audience has. Let me bring this up real quick. Okay, what can you share about Kundalini?
Well, I've never really looked at it too much, other than what I know around the Christ oil that sits at the base of the spine, and so often we haven't had that activated. So sometimes spirit will ask me to help that activate within someone up the spine. When there's blocks in the spine, it doesn't always come through. So Kundalini can be activated through connecting in a sexual way with a divine counterpart. So when you meet someone that you have a really, really beautiful, pure, energetic connection with, but you don't need to be in a sexual divine union twin flame thing for that to come about. It's an oil, like a Christ oil I see at the base of the spine, that moves up the spine and then comes into the head. I mean, that's pretty much what I know about it. Spirit hasn't asked me to work too much more with it, other than sometimes they'll ask me to activate it in someone or help that activation process in someone.
Okay.
And if it wasn't so late at night, I would close my eyes and channel, but I'm a little bit tired.
Oh,
I had-
we'll definitely have you on. You said you have so many topics to talk about. We could talk for days. Let me see. We just had one more question here I saw.
Tone
This one
Deaf
was
had
interesting.
an interesting one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I've heard it said, the Satan is in the past, the Christ is the present, and Lucifer is in the future.
Interesting. Never heard that before. I would say, well, I've done a lot of planetary work. So I've worked a lot in the fourth realm. I've had Lucifer pick me up by the neck, got a little bit of a fright, and then remembered I got to work with the love. I don't know anything about that, other than I would say Satan and Lucifer are the same energetic. So you've got Baal, Moloch, all of those. There's many different names that we give to this energy, and I don't see it in a traditional biblical sense. The Bible does hold a lot of beautiful information, but there's also been a lot of infiltration there. As I'm being shown, you don't have to, go with what I say, but if it resonates. And the Christ is a template. It's a consciousness. Christ is a consciousness, not just a being. Actually, I had Serapis Bay come through the other day saying he's part of the Christ conscious template. There are many. And so when I talk about the fifth dimensional consciousness, we had an original grid, a Christ conscious grid. It's a crystalline energetic. And so I just think the word Satan and Lucifer are, yes, there's more to those stories, which I don't think we have time to get into now, but as a whole, it's a lower vibrational energetic. We're coming from an archon structure where it lacks the God source nucleus. I hope that answers that okay.
Yes, that was good. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, hold on a sec. Okay. Farrah, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and your work? What is going on here? Things are just
I
showing
did
up.
that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, did you? I thought
I
it
had
was tech
another
gremlins.
question, but
Charlie?
anyway, that's
It's like the naughty schoolboys, like it's me.
So why don't you share? Do you have upcoming classes, or, what kind of assistance what kind of services do you offer? How can people find you?
So at the moment, it's nice to follow me on Instagram, because I do try and do short little videos there to explain what energies we're in, what we're doing. I don't get a lot of time because of my baby, and I work on clients one-on-one. So I really love the one-on-one work, although it is good to move into group work because I love teaching. And so I always feel like the energy work and the teaching and the awareness are just as important. So when we have a new awareness around something, we can then, as I said, have a choose differently in the now moment. So I've just done a course on the somatic embodiment of the photonic light rays, which was working with the aurora ray and this platinum white sun, which was very cool. But I didn't record my meditation. I can't find it, so I have to redo the meditation. But I have the workshop. I know I'm like a proper ditzy tech girl. You guys are so much more advanced than me on this stuff. Um, and then I have done workshops in the past. I've done quite a lot of work with AJ, but I'm going to be putting together a course around connecting with your higher self. I've done it in the past, a couple of years ago, but I want to as I'm growing and evolving, there's more to bring to the table. I mean, even in the book I started writing, I said, what I know today will be different by tomorrow, by next month. Maybe I'll have to rewrite the book in a year's time, but when I finally finish writing it.
Yeah.
But of course, that's a joke because people will find what they need to find at the time. But so I have a membership as well, which is a very small group, actually, very lovely, very core, like a light family. We're just a family. I strive to be completely authentic, and like I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be some, I don't want any competition. So I don't want I don't want to create a group where people are all trying to be, one is better than the other. You can ask my membership. They probably love me because they're like, oh, bloody hell, this is what happened today. They probably all think I'm a bit bonkers, and that's why they like to listen to me. So I've got the membership, which I really love. I love the one-on-one sessions. I'm going to be moving into, I've just finished a workshop. I'm going to set up another one for the end of July. So I always just sort of post about that on Instagram, and then obviously you can subscribe. And those are, I feel like I need to offer more stuff, but that is it for now.
Oh, that's plenty. And you guys, you can find Farrah's website in the description below. Her Instagram is Farrah Weir, .iam, I believe. You can find her on Instagram. I follow her on there as well, and she has some great videos on there. So, please stay connected with her. It was wonderful having you, Farrah. I'm so glad your friend connected us with you. So as we wrap,
She's powerful energy worker, that Nina. Promise you.
yes. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Awesome. That's what we all need to do. We all need to find our power, and we need teachers like you to help us connect with that power. But as we wrap up, what inspirational message would you want to leave with our audience today?
Well, first of all, thank you. And I want to say we need people like you and like you, Charlie. So it's right back at you. Thank you for that. I want to say there's a couple of things, but I think mostly is to not be in any fear and to be in wonder and awe and curiosity and amazement about where we're at, where we're going, and your ability to create heaven on earth, even if Armageddon is playing out next door. So I want to say inspirational, always come back into the now moment, this very present moment, and you can do that through working with your heartbeat and your breath. And if you have heartbeat and breath, you've got a lot. So I hope that.
Absolutely. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Farrah. And thank you, everybody, as always. Lots of love and many blessings to you all. Charlie, did you have any last words to say? Any goodbyes?
Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we can have you back again.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Well, guys, no show next week because of the holiday. Enjoy the holiday. And Ken Rolla is actually going to be with us the following week, so July 10th. And he has a lot to talk about AI as well, and pyramid energy. We can get into a lot of different things with him as well. So lots of love to you guys. We'll see you next time.
Lots of love, guys. I'm going to run. Lots of love. Sending you all the love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.